Happy Tuesday morning. Hope you are well. Big day today. Let's make sure we all are praying for our nation, for peace, for clarity of this whole process. I know there's a lot of tension in the air for sure. So let's lift up to the Lord, ask for His grace and His mercy during this time. We kicked off on Sunday this idea about we need a time change. We should be expecting a time change, and that salvation, when it comes to us, it actually, part of that is changing our time. And we looked at three Greek words that are found in the New Testament. Chronos, which is just scientific linear time that we find from our watch, that our calendar goes by. And there's Kairos, and Kairos is the relational aspect of time. It's really a divine moment, right? Where heaven opens up, where we have a greater view, engagement with God, and the spiritual realm opens up. And then the third one is Ion, which is eternity. And when we're saved out of Chronos, and we are saved into a new view of time, which is Kairos, which is realizing we're relationally connected to God, and we now have eternal life in Ion, that we don't look just at Chronos, a beginning and an end, but there is no end. Now we're now part of Ion. This is part of salvation. And it should have a radical impact, right, on our expectation for life. In this life, we should be expecting Kairos moments. In other words, engagement with God in the middle of our day. And one of the things we looked at is this idea that Kairos moments open heaven above and holy awareness below. So Kairos moments, when that moment happens, in other words, where our spirit is illuminated, that we know that God is present with us, our heaven opens up, right? Becomes real. The reality of our relationship with God becomes real. And then we're also wholly aware. We're aware like we've never been before of our situation, the world, and everything else. And so that would lead me to ask the question this morning for us all: how spiritually aware do we have a holy awareness about our own spiritual life, about our own spiritual state of our life? And what about our church? How aware, spiritually aware, is there a holy awareness of what's going on in our church, our role in the church, things we need to be praying for, things we should be seeking for? Because we'll look at tomorrow that, or maybe in a couple of days, that, when we gather as a church, it should be a Kairos moment, always an encouragement for us all to rock us out of just our Chronos, the next thing on our to-do list. And anyway, how aware are we of our own spiritual life, where our heart is, where our church is, and what about our nation? How spiritually aware are we of where our nation is at today? And this takes living in this idea of time, of realizing, God, you speak into all of this. And when we have these moments, when we're before God in prayer and everything, remember, it just feels like heaven opens, we get clarity, and there's this great awareness, this opening of our eyes, our sensitivity, our spiritual sensitivity to what God is doing. So we have fresh eyes. As such, we have God's eyes. We have His perspective. The New Testament tells us we have the mind of Christ. If we lay hold of it and ask God for wisdom and His thought, we should be doing that. Obviously, Paul says we're to examine our own life first. We're to look at our church. We're to examine our church and be aware of our role in the church and in the church itself, working in unity with each other. And then finally, our nation. And this being election day, boy, we need a Kairos moment. Lord, what are you doing? And Father, may your will be done. And we've been looking at Ezekiel 37. And God asks Ezekiel, takes him to the valley of dry bones. Ezekiel, can these bones live? Can these dry bones have been in? Can they live? And Ezekiel says, Lord, you know. And every one of these Kairos moments, this engagement with God, and where He becomes real, and we have a talking engagement as such with God, underneath all of it really is this question: can these bones live? Can this situation be changed? Is God big enough and powerful enough to do the impossible? And do we step into that, right, by grace? In other words, we look at our nation. Can these bones? I think many people would say, wow, our nation's a mess. I think most would say that. Are we a valley of dry bones yet? I don't know. But can they live? Can there be renewal? Can there be revival? And because of Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection and Pentecost, we can say affirmingly, yes, these bones can live. Lord, may you revive us as a people, a church, and a nation. God bless.